So it is a rate that shows how one variable changes with respect to another. Okay, I went through that very slow because I have messed up writing that both times this morning that I've tried to write it. I left out like 2 words last period. It's just been a struggle. What is hitting? Okay, it's over now. So on a linear graph, this is called the slope of a line. So slope is written as a ratio of the vertical change. The vertical change is referred to as rise. So it's the ratio of the vertical change to the horizontal change, which is the run, between any 2 points on the line. So this remains constant for any 2 points on the same line. So your slope does not change over the entire line. So I could pick a point here and here, and it would be the same as if I picked a point here and here for our slope. Okay, because the slope is always written as a fraction in simplest form. So we will have to simplify our fractions. What that means is we are not going to write mixed numbers, and we are not going to write decimals. Slope will stay as a fraction, okay? And the variable we use for slope is what? Anybody remember? M. So we will have 4 types of slope, okay? So the first one is positive. We can have a positive slope. So a positive slope happens when our graph goes up from left to right. So our graph is increasing over time. Then our graph is negative if it goes down from left to right, or it's decreasing. And that is because it would have a negative rise and a positive run. So a negative divided by a positive is still going to be negative. Whereas a positive is going to have a positive rise and a positive run, which is positive. Now, we have a zero slope. So a zero slope occurs when we have a horizontal line. The reason it is a zero slope is because slope is rise over run. Does this have any rise? So our rise would be 0 divided by our run. 0 divided by a number is 0. So it makes our slope 0 because that is what our rise is. Then the last kind of slope we have is an undefined slope. And this happens when we have a vertical line. So this happens with a vertical line because so this has a rise, but does this have any run? Can I divide by 0? What is that? It's undefined. So that's why it gives us an undefined slope, because it has no run. Okay, so that is our 4 types of slope we can have. And then we're going to identify our slope graphically and algebraically. So we're going to start with graphically because all we have to do is look at the picture. Okay, so to find the slope of the graph of each line, okay, we're going to write the answer in simplest form. So when we're finding slope on a graph, we are looking for the rise over the run. So we read a graph from left to right every time, okay? So I'm going to look from one point to the other. So here I'm going to go from this point to this point. So to get there, what is my rise? Seven. Because it goes up 7. Okay, so our rise is 7. Then our run would be 4. Is 7 over 4 a fraction I can simplify? No. So that's just my slope. My slope is 7 over 4. Then we're going to look at question 2. So again, we're going to go from here to here. But in order for us to do that, do I need to go up or down? Down. So that's going to make my rise negative. So my rise needs to be -3. And then what is the run? So when we do this, we will have our slope is equal to -3 over 9. So is that something I can simplify?
Yeah.
To -1/3. And so if I was to do -1 over 3, so go down 1 over 1, 2, 3, every time I do that, I'm going to find a point on my graph, okay? And it will continue to be that way forever. So now for number 3, what kind of line is that? What kind of slope does that have? 0 slope, okay? Because does this have any rise? But it does have a run. What is the run from those 2 points? Which just gives us 0. But we know from the get-go that is a 0 slope because it's horizontal. And then for number 4, what kind of line is that? It is an undefined slope. Okay, because it's vertical. So if I look at the slope for this, it has a rise. What would our rise be between those 2 points it gives us? But what's the run? Can I divide by 0? So it is undefined. Because it is a vertical line. So on the back, we're going to do 5 and 7, and then I'm going to let y'all do 6 and 8. Okay? We're going to do most of the odds together today. So for number 5, we're going to look at these 2 points. To go from one point to the other, do I need to go up or down? Up. So we're going to go up how many?
4.
No, 5. Yep, so our rise is 5 and our run is 3. Can I simplify that? Nope, so that is our answer. All right, for 7, what is the rise for 7?
1.
What is the run?
4.
So our slope will be 1/4. Can I simplify that? That's it. Okay, so now I want y'all to do 6 and 8. What did y'all get for the slope of 6? -3 over 1, which I can also write as? Yep. Because it goes down 3, right 1. Now, for number 8, what did y'all get for the answer? -1/2. Okay? Because it goes down 2 over 4. So we can simplify -2/4 to 1/2. -1/2. And if we were to check that and go down 1 over 1, 2, down 1 over 1, 2, we would keep having points on our graph. Now we're going to look at algebraically finding slope. So the slope formula is used to find the slope between 2 points, x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. The formula is m is equal to, does anybody remember the formula? Yep, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we are going to find the slope for all of these questions right here. Okay, so for number 9, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. If you are someone who gets those mixed up, it takes 5 seconds. Label them, call it a day. Okay, now we can set this up. So we have our slope is equal to y2 minus y1, so which is what? Over 4 minus 1. So what is 3 minus 1? And then 4 minus 1 is? So it is 2/3. Okay, now, there is something that I suggest you do. Okay, and it's that when we're setting these up, we set them up and plug into parentheses. Just because sometimes our questions have signs that get us mixed up. So if we look at 11, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. Now, if you are good at it, you don't have to put the parentheses. I don't put the parentheses. But if it helps you to not make sign errors, I want you to do that, okay? So first, what's my numerator going to be? -5 minus. Okay, so my denominator will be -4. Okay, here, what is, when you subtract a negative number, what happens? So it's going to be -4, which becomes +4. Yeah. So what is -5 minus 5? So we have -5 and we go for 5 more. -10. Okay, then we have -8 plus 4, which is -4. Okay, now a negative and a negative make a positive. And then can I simplify 10 over 4? To what? 5 over 2. But using parentheses has a tendency to help us not make mistakes with our signs if we set it up right. Because if you set it up just like that and you type it into a calculator, it'll tell you exactly the same thing every time. Yes?
With the 5 over 2, would that be positive or negative?
Positive, because a negative divided by a negative is going to make it positive. Yep. So for 13, we're going to set this one up. So we're going to have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what should my numerator be? 5 minus 6 over.
6 minus 6.
What is 5 minus 6? What is 6 minus 5? 1. Okay, how would I also write -1 over 1? -1. So I want y'all to take a second and do 10, 12, and 14. And if you need help, raise your hand and I will be there. Okay, what is the slope to 10?
-1/2.
-1/2. So initially, if you set that up, you'll get negative 2 minus 4, which gives you negative 6, over 10 minus negative 2, which is the same thing as 10 plus 2, which is 12. Then you can simplify negative 6 twelfths to negative 1/2. All right, for number 12, what do you get?
Negative 1/3.
Yes. Okay, because 4 minus 0 is 4. Negative 2 minus 10 is negative 12. 4 negative 12ths equals negative 1/3. All right, what about for 14? 0. Because we have negative 4 minus negative 4. So that becomes negative 4 plus 4, which is 0. All right, let's go ahead and look at the back. And then I want y'all to go ahead and let's do 15, and then I'm going to let y'all do 16. So for 15, negative 2 minus negative 9. Like, there are so many minus signs there, so if you need to set up those parentheses to make it a little bit easier for you to read, please do. Then the denominator should be 3 minus 5. So now, negative 2 minus negative 9. What am I actually saying there?
Adding it.
Mm-hmm. So what is negative 2 plus 9?
7.
Then we have 3 minus 5, which is negative 2. Can I simplify that?
No.
Nope. So there we go. All right, for 16, what does the numerator need to be?
8 minus
What's the denominator?
4.
So what is 8 minus 6? What is 4 minus 4?
It's undefined.
So it is undefined. It does not matter what the numerator is. If the denominator is 0, it's undefined. All right, now, so we are going to also go backwards. So sometimes we'll be given a slope and 2 points and have to find something, okay? So sometimes we have to complete the ordered pair using a given slope. That is supposed to just say given. I don't know, not giving. And that would be the given with an E in there, like E-N, but you know. So I checked for typos in the problems, but apparently I didn't check close enough for typos in the words, but you know, we'll get there. So we have the slope of a line passing through the points negative 5, 6, and 5y is negative 4/5. So find y. So in order for us to do this, we're going to set it up just like normal. So we're going to take our slope, which is negative 4/5, is equal to, and we're just going to set it up. So my numerator, I have x1, y1, x2, y2. So what does my numerator need to be? Y minus 6, and then my denominator should be, and if I'm saying 5 minus negative 5, what am I actually saying? Yep. So we have negative 4/5 is equal to, is there anything I can do with y minus 6? So we just get y minus 6 over, what is 5 plus 5? 10. What kind of problem is that? It's proportion, so I can, what do I need to do to solve it? Well, multiply 10 by what? So we will do, this is a cross multiplication, right? So we can cross multiply. So negative 4 times 10 is equal to 5 times y minus 6. Then from here I just distribute. What is negative 4 times 10? Then I have 5 times y, which is, and then 5 times negative 6 is, and then I just solve it for y. So what do I do to solve this for y? What is negative 40 plus 30? Negative? Negative 10. So negative 10 equals 5y. How do I solve from there? Divide by 5. What is negative 10 divided by 5? So that is what our y is. So we are really just doing the same thing we've been doing, but then adding it with solving an equation. Okay? So now we're going to do 17, 19, and 21 together. So for 17, what is our slope? 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write that as 2 over 1. I'm going to go ahead and write it as a fraction. And then I'm going to do my numerator. What should my numerator be? 6 minus negative 2. What should my denominator be? Or negative 3. And then when I subtract a negative number, so I have 2 over 1 is equal to, what is 6 plus 2? What is x plus 3? X plus 3. Okay, then I have to cross multiply. So I'm going to do 2 times x plus 3 equals 1 times 8. What is 1 times 8? Yep. And how do I solve from here? 2x plus 6 equals 8. Now what? What do I do though?
You
Subtract 6. So I get 2x is equal to, what is 8 minus 6? Then I divide both sides by 2 and get x equals 1. All right, for question 19, okay, what is our slope? Equals, then my numerator should be what?
y minus negative 4.
And then our denominator should be
Negative 5 minus 3.
not just minus 3, minus,
Negative 3.
and when we subtract a negative number, so we get negative 9 over 2 equals y plus 4 over, what is negative 5 plus 3? And then we cross multiply. So 9 times negative 9 times negative 2 is
18.
And then we're going to do 2 times y plus 4. So I distribute that. When I distribute, what do I get?
Y plus 8.
Then how do I solve it?
Subtract 8.
So what is 18 minus 8?
10.
Then what?
Divide 2.
What is 10 divided by 2? And we are also going to look at 21. Okay, for question 21, what is our slope? Then what's our numerator going to be? And then our denominator? And then anything I can do there? What is 8 minus 7? So we get 1 over 11 minus x. Now I cross multiply. So I do negative 1 times 11 minus x. And I do 5 times 1. What is 5 times 1? So then I distribute negative 1. Negative 1 times 11 is? Negative 1 times negative x is? Equals 5. How do I solve that? So x equals? X equals 16. So I want y'all to do 18, 20, and 22 for me. And if you need help, raise your hand and I will be there. Yes.
What was the answer to that?
16? Or 19 is 5. that, and you should get your answer. Because you did everything right, except that part. All the hard parts were right, just the negatives.
So what is negative 7? What is 2 times 0?
Oh, by trying to look at it, I was expecting the error to be in somewhere else. So what is x minus 0? X. So when we go from here to here, we do not have to include the minus 0. However, if you do, and you distribute, what is 3 times 0? 0, okay? So don't let having a 0 in there throw you off. So the answer for number 18 should be negative 2. That is how you set up 20. So from there, what should the next line be? Is there anything I can do with negative 7 minus y? What should 1 minus negative 3 become? Positive 4. So then we cross multiply. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. And then, does multiplying by 1 change anything? So we have negative 7 minus y. How do I solve that?
Well, add negative 7.
Or not add negative 7, but add. And so that gives us negative 9 equals negative y. How am I done? What do I do from here? Divide everything by negative 1. So I get a negative 9 divided by negative 1 is equals y. And then 22. How do I set 20? Yes. How do I set this up? 1/3 equals what? Okay, so I get 1/3 is equal to 5 minus y over negative 4. Okay, from here I cross multiply. What is 1 times negative 4? If I cross multiply again, I'll do 3 times 5, which is, and 3 times negative y, which is, yep. I just skipped the intermediate step there. From there, what do I do to solve? What is negative 4 minus 15? Equals negative 3y. How do I solve? So a negative and a negative make a. And can I simplify 19/3? So that is our answer.